How much can you dial that up until you lose yourself, the self you think you are? How much can you dial that up if you get to the pure intention of, why am I here? What is it? Do you want to wake up? What is it you? And then imagine that without your own crapola disrupting. Yeah. So let's just take a few minutes and then I'll come out of it. I'll guide you out of it. So begin by settling the posture and focusing on the breath, and I'm not going to talk until we return. Now I'd like to invite you to consider your motivation as clear as you've gotten it. And just check it for the three principal parts. See if it has some form of renunciation to the best of your understanding of renunciation, kind of fuel that energizes it to be free from something. Then see if it has bodhicitta. If in your motivation you've added the wish to help other beings, all other beings, in some way. There's got to be a sweetness to that sensation. And then see how much wisdom you can hold in relation to that motivation. Where did the impulse come from? How do you know to label your motivation the way you do? Where did it come from? What's its basis? How can it change? Why can it change? How does it hold freedom? How does it arise? So just another minute or two, just checking the three principal paths on your motivation. Feel free to add it, expand it, play with it. When you're ready, just slowly bring your sensations back, your awareness to your body, to the room. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Seshi Buddhi Jushin Metocham Virablinchin Indembadi Sangye Shindu Nitevadi Jokunanda Shinga Chupasho Vidam Guru Ragna Mandala Kamyatayami Sangye Chiram Saki Shognamla Chanshu Hardu Dagni Gyasuchi Dagi Chenyeng Dipesonamki Trola Benchir Sangye Drupasho Sangye Shudan Sogi Chognamla Janshu Bardu Dagni Gyatsuchi Dagi Chenyeng Dipesonamki Rola Benchir Sangye Drupasho Sangye Shudan Sogi Chognamla Janshu Bardu Dagni Gyatsuchi Dagi Chenyeng Dipesonamki Rola Benchir Sangye Drupasho
Nice. Okay, Steve. Did you do the printout of the Yay. So do you remember what we start every 2 classes now? Every 2 classes I've been starting it with a quiz from the last 2 classes to check that your minds are on the subject. So we're going to quiz, workshop quiz, class 9 and 10, which was so easy, right? Of the hardest course that we've ever done in the last 5 years. So your job, if you've been here before, is to helpfully help the people that haven't been here before or didn't do these classes. That's the answer key. No, they need to go to them, right? Oh, thank you. So get yourselves into maybe 5 groups. Who was here for class 9 and 10? 10 is good. Good. So Rachel, you take a group. Sarah, you take a group. Animal, sucked in, take a group. And Steve, can you take a group? Yep. So then find yourselves Rachel, Sarah, Hannibal, and Stephen, and together in the next 15 minutes do quiz for 9 and 10, just to get our concepts in. I didn't see you there, Richard. Did you come to 9 and 10? Yeah. Are you sure? Okay, so you've got the click going. That's cool.
Yeah.
So Rachel, are you going to go with Sarah? Or are you going to create another group? Great. Introduce yourself. Everybody's name on the sheet. So Steve, you got them. And me?
JPK.
It's like heavy, but with an R. Heavier.
That's awesome. I've never heard that.
It is like that.
Yeah, it is. It's like heavy.
But with an R.
Oh, it was just okay in this. Okay.
Yeah, I've been in the British Navy for a year. Javier.
Okay, I just wanted to mention that I like to apologize.
Javier. That's what you read. That's what they want.
For example, like walking, so subject to sound.
So what are we doing? Quiz 9.
No, it's teaching.
Yes.
I'm not looking at
That's why I mentioned following the United States, which is very sound. If
you're in a group and you don't understand what they're talking about, force them to explain it to you, Tina. Yeah? Like force them to, because that's your power in that group.
What number you want? 5?
At 6. So the cause of 9 is not.
I know it's not. They're being to left.
So basically, like reading. This is the question. Like, I'm just using the double negative. Oh,
yeah, it's in Tibetan too, because this course is taught sometimes in Tibetan.
We just ignore that.
Yeah, so all those wiggles, they're just great.
We just ignore those. I like that. Thank you.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the position denied would be and
Right.
quality denied would be sounds not named. Right.
So the quality to be proven is.
The explicit form of the quality to be proven would be that.
Yeah, there you go. This one, whatever you must consider is yourself. The assertion. It's actually pretty. It's what the quality is set up in the.
Nick, since you were here, force them to explain the parts you don't get.
The assertion is that sound is a change.
Oh, sound is function.
They might need. There's a quality to be proven.
So this issue denies part of the great point, and then all of my
That sounds like that's a change.
Yeah. But the search insertion is that sound is changing things. Now, the quality to be proven is also that it's changing.
Yep.
Is that a yes to us or to them or to?
You. That was good. Howie, can you turn the camera so it goes on there? With a nice background.
Yeah. What's
I know, probably don't have to tell you that.
Yeah, that's the explicit form versus the explicit form of the.
well, no, it's not versus the quality, it is.
Specifically, what is it? Changes.
Right, I don't think we need to go through. But no, I'm trying to
The quality,
understand
the explicit form of the qualitative
Being a changing.
Yeah, being a
There's the explicit manifestation of the quality, and then there's the implicit. Okay, so implicit meaning implied.
Gina, use your power.
Explicitly, what's the most
Make
obvious?
them talk to you.
That sounds neat.
Well, and the implicit form is that, hey, no, I don't think so. I want to you want to change anything too. That sounds.
The assertion is that it's changing.
We're proving the assertion of the.
If you prove that it's made,
Being a thing.
then the assertion is true. That's why it's a quality. So what's the quality to be proven? Send it to me. Right. Because if you can prove it's made, then you know it's changing. We're not just proving what.
You sure?
The explicit.
I'm sure,
It's
yeah.
like what it's
Explicit quality to be proven?
Is that it's made? No. Is that it's changing?
That's what you're trying to prove. Yeah.
But that's not the quality. Isn't that
That's the reason you gave, but you're trying to say it's a changing thing. Explicitly, that a thing changes.
So.
Check the answer. I can't remember off the top of my head, but check the answer key.
I'll check it out.
Yes.
What is your contestants?
No, I said I'll check it out.
The assertion is the quality to be proven, not get proven. We're trying to prove that it's a changing thing.
So that's the assertion.
Yeah, and then the specific, that's the assertion, but it's also the quality to be proven.
So the assertion of the quality.
Because the emptiness of the sound from the last.
Because you're trying to prove that quality. How do you do it? You give it a stupid reason, that's the reason.
So it's.
I would never come
But
up
check
with
the answer
this.
key.
I am.
Because I would be wrong from the wrong.
I like change. But it's still not linear between three. Just come out of what we want. Studies come out of all. Being a good year, I have a problem.
Make them
Well, the way
fully
we-
covered, so that's the answer, that's the answer sheet. And what's your answer?
So.
Yeah, I like that better.
That comes more from what we studied and teaching from Western motion.
This is a form.
Even though it's a form.
The position behind is that it has a three-fourths sound. Where the nine is that is.
That's cool.
Yes.
Heavier.
You can call me Mr. J. 6, the position denied.
The explicit
It
form
is
of the
unchanged.
quality to be proven is that
It's
it's
like
changing.
what sound,
And then
different
the
thing.
form is being a thing which only lasts a moment.
Wording.
The expression of the
Being
Being a changing thing.
So 3 and 4 is.
3 and 4
I thought that was
2, 3, and 4.
Oh.
2 is sound is a changing.
Well, the
thing.
quality
3
to
and 4
experience
are
that
being
each
changing.
explicit is the same as.
Yeah,
It's not really explicit.
Being a thing
The
which
quality
only
is
lasts a
denied.
moment, which makes it a changing thing.
Right.
So the position denied, that sounds not.
The quality denied, yeah,
The
unchangeability.
quality denied is an
Okay,
unchanging.
and their wording is being an unchanging thing.
Yeah.
That sounds the same thing to me.
Why did that?
Right?
I would work better qualified.
But this is why I like to look at and checking, because if we get the essence, then the words that sometimes they'll just correct you a little bit. If not, that's exactly what he's trying to point you not to.
Right, but that's the definition
So
of
I
a
can
word.
express
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice. Tina, you got it. You're winning, right? You're like, they should help you understand these things. Yeah. JBR, help Tina understand what group of similar cases means.
I don't know what that is. The opposite. So in the logic school, there's basically a way to organize absolutely everything that exists in the universe. The main breakdown of all things, these are things that change, and the things that do not change. Then from there, the things that change, break down into a whole bunch. Things that do not change, it's only three. In this casino.
Correct.
When we get there, we can maybe talk about all those three.
So when he says group of similar cases, I mean,
I mean, like,
all the other
generally it
changing
makes sense,
stuff.
but if we're really gonna take apart.
Yeah, so
Sound is
flower is a
similar,
changing thing, a
everything.
cup is
Maybe
a
it's so
changing thing.
complicated
The
if
fan
we're
is-
not going any
I
So with that, it keeps going. So the group of similar cases, if I change the meaning.
It would be all other, specifically all other.
Why?
Because it's not that one.
The answer says all changing.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Damn it.
And then the group of dissimilar cases would be all unchanging, all
The
unchanging.
expression of the relationship.
You understand?
I do, just sound is a unique thing because everything is.
I did it, sorry, I jumped ahead, because it
Everything
is
that's
amazing.
changing is sound.
Right,
My
right.
specific, like, weird.
I see, yeah.
So we're breaking down that logical statement into its minimal parts.
The subject and the reason. Sound is made. So it's
So the expression of the relationship
The
between the subject
relationship of-
and the reason.
the expression of sound is the main thing. Like when you say it's a relationship of.
I don't know.
The same.
Oh.
Correct.
Oh, right.
So isn't it that
The
sound?
question
is
11, the
thing?
expression of the relationship
I
between the
think it would
subject
just
and
be
the
that they're the
voice.
same.
The sound.
What's the
I
reason?
wasn't here for that class, so
What is
I.
the main thing?
So I had it, sound is the main.
That is the expression of the relationship.
States the, consider this, and the.
I don't even like that. I don't-
The word would say. That's my.
I agree with
that's what
you.
I-
Yeah, I don't get it, yeah.
Three is.
I would say revenue.
Can you use concrete example?
So with the sound, like, in any case.
So
In this case, two.
Thank you, nice. I hear a realization.
So why did you put that in there?
I hear a realization. Nice.
Right, they should have said one is three.
Yeah, good, you got it. I mean, you're learning something.
The concept and differentiation between the reason and the equality. And the reason is two. So for any case, it's a major thing, and the quality is it's a changing thing. So the answer to that is a changing thing, it's a major.
Okay, so the force.
Right, true, yeah, that's the only.
Subject, the assertion, and the reason, those three statements.
No, but you're helping step into understanding.
Some of these, the expression of the negative is said
Word
to
is-
two between the reason and the equality.
So we should change the third sentence also.
He's doing that for historical sake. So when you look at translation from the Tibetan into English, and any other school looks at it, there is no escaping the fact.
Many cases it's changing.
13, I understand it. I know this is not bad.
Every time three is true.
So the expression of the negative necessity
All right, so now, how would you say that?
It's not.
I don't know. I think it's
Huh?
the relationship between the subject and the reason is like
So-
sound
A main
is the main
thing.
thing. Because sound is the
And the
subject, the
quality
main thing is
improvement?
the reason. It is the main
Yeah.
thing is the reason.
Yeah.
So the answer is,
So you're
it's
gonna
something
say
that's
that
not
sound.
Right, it's not, of course.
Relationship between
Subject and the reason.
is the sound.
Yeah, you put it in, so look, there's a balance in my head.
Yes. That is an unchangeable balance.
Oh, stop.
Yes. Yes. Something is not made.
So now we go back to the line. Yeah.
We just accept that.
Similar to
Water pitcher.
Remember, what was it?
How much time do we have, Hector? Okay, we should, the expression of the process.
Oh, that's wrong, that's wrong.
So that would be.
Let's work out there, let's see other question.
What is, and then the next one?
No, now we go to.
Oh, is this option?
Yes, water pitcher. Give me to this school of the best like this, like I don't care. The past, the time, a particular object such as the water.
I don't know if they want
Get the definition of past, relative,
Yay!
time, or particular object.
yeah.
The past.
Welcome, they're just reviewing.
I could give you the answer, but I couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah, what's the answer?
You ready? Definition of past, relative, time,
Oh, yeah.
That's the past, right?
Yeah.
Repeat that?
The answer, yeah.
The definition of past
Which has
relative to the water pitcher is that which has already begun by the time of the water pitcher, which has already stopped by the time.
great. Now, can someone tell me why it's so wordy and not just saying, oh, it's just
I'm guessing.
before the water feature? Why is it so wordy? Because it's saying the
Because Kalupa.
no,
Good answer.
because you can't give, there is no
In this.
that is not related to an object.
Right.
And so you must say blah blah water feature blah blah.
But that's the logic score, right?
That's one part. Yeah. The second part is it's got to have already started and ended, right, in relation to the subject. So it must have been I'm a water pitcher and stopping that water pitcher in relation to this water pitcher. So it's the 1989 version of this water pitcher. And then you can logically say that's definitely the past of this object. Now you're going to have to do the same boring thing about the future. This future doesn't exist. It doesn't have a definition. It's not existing in the now. Because why? Remember why there is no past in generality and no future in generality, according to the logic.
Because they don't acknowledge the memory.
Because generally it doesn't perform a function. Doesn't perform a function. You know, that's why it's in relation to an object. Because if it performs a function in relation to an object, you can start in the end. Right?
But if it's in the end,
Then it's the present.
But that's where the logic
Something
school-
started and it's still continuing as the present. That's just the logic school. Steve, that's what you were saying?
No, that's not the past.
Well, there's no past, there's no
We're talking about
general.
the
There's a past only in relation. This is a specific object.
Number two,
Okay, so that's where
number two
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, and so you have to mention water pitcher or the plant or whatever the object is. Why? You remember why?
Because it's the logic
Why
school.
doesn't it exist for the logic?
Because the logic school considers emptiness from the point of view of function and parts of the specific
The
object.
ultimate reality functionality is something that performs a function. A pass
Cannot exist
that isn't
unless there
here
is a
anymore
function.
can't perform a function.
The highest time that the middle school.
Yeah, so they get themselves into this corner of having to explain the past in relation to an object.
Yeah, this is the one.
Meaning, oh, it must have been also an object that started, and since it's the past in relation to this object, it must have stopped. So that's why they give it
In
that three
relationship
part.
to that object.
And then they're going to talk about the past of the flower is something like this flower that started and ended.
And it's back on.
Because the definition of the present of the flower is going to be something that began and continues, ongoing. And the definition of the future of the flower in this school, because they lock themselves into that stupid corner because they don't believe in past and future.
Something that is beginning.
Beginning and not yet ended, right? Yeah. No, it's in the process of beginning. I can't remember
In
exactly.
the process of beginning according to the present time of the flower.
Now you're thinking about it.
I remember.
But yeah, that's it. So,
Okay, so what's the answer to A? A, 2A.
Yeah.
It's a wordy question. Give two senses in which the consequence group,
Sorry, guys.
the highest kind of middle way school, says that the past is a working thing.
how are you? I think it's very difficult because I saw a really long test which I didn't get to
Maybe a
read.
relation between the time. It's not- I mean, we're talking about like the destruction.
I got back this morning and actually 3 hours. Yeah, I can't talk to you about that.
So then
Oh, good. That's very big.
the destroying of the thing has.
Yeah.
Okay, I cannot finish it.
That it's contrary to say that destruction or the past.
So that makes
Yeah, I know the
sense.
beginning of it, then it's always Russian.
That I cannot say that.
Right, it's there,
Right,
yeah, right.
you get paid.
Right, yeah.
You get laughs.
So a past of something,
But then we already had
it's considered something that's
No longer
already
exists.
But the thing that was destroyed
Water picture which is destroyed.
must have had
Everyone agrees that
causes
destroying
to
water
in
picture
itself,
must have its own causes.
which are indirect causes to the presence of that destroyed thing.
Contradictory then to say that the destruction.
Tina, do you want to punch me in the face here? No, no.
Not yet.
Not yet? You're sure? You're welcome to.
Next side.
Like,
But does that make sense according to that?
It makes more, like I said, it makes more sense than.
So the birth or destruction of something. Right. Like
Yeah.
it's like saying the birth of
I
the
don't know.
thing
And B?
had causes and conditions,
you want
but
B?
the
Yeah.
thing itself didn't have causes. Right? If you just say it.
Rachel, how close are you?
You want to say
Or
that?
just saying this kind of
I
question.
can try to say
How
it
many? 3
again.
or 4?
The past
There's three.
of the thing.
Are you guys finished or not yet?
Really destroyed.
Do you need answers or you think you got it?
Whenever they finish, I'll be
I lost it. It was destroyed.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, I would say.
Past water picture,
Yeah.
for example, is a water picture which has been destroyed. Everyone agrees
Okay,
that
are
the
we moving on
destruction
to
of the water
three?
picture must have some.
Name the three general types of incorrect
It is
logicity.
contradictory not to say that the destruction of past
And
things
give
which
me
is
example.
destroying suffering violence could not have its
Three
own
general
causes
types
and
of
conditions.
incorrect.
It would be like saying birth of a thing like this was, not a thing.
Oh, wasn't this, the incorrect logical statement?
Now, I think
Or-
your language representing destroy made more sense
I did, there
when
was
you
a
said it.
second
I'm not sure.
minute. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm confused again because something just happened there. There's
Okay, contradictory reasons.
the last part of like the
Start and the end.
So that would be like
first
found
It's like saying the first thing
That's a cause, but nothing of more, which you can't say that.
I kind of like said it in a way that the indirect cause to the first thing is an indirect cause to the
So
next
if I try
thing.
to.
I don't know if it makes I was trying to be more quick.
Oh, cool.
Sounds are kind of that answer. Right.
You think it's me, so I'm changing to say something.
Okay, 1 minute.
If you said sound is changing.
That would be, that's a
That would be interesting.
You could say, one description, sound is unchanging because it's not made.
It wouldn't be contradictory.
Right.
Yeah.
Indefinite, cool, that's not like it's it's changing because it, or, tasted because it's blue.
I'm not sure if that's indefinite. I think it would be more like sound is unchanging because it's special.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, so the answer is somewhere within the parameters of what we said, but it doesn't. Yeah.
Not all sound is knowable. Right.
I know, I would just.
So, if you say something,
Are you saying
that's
that
why
your
it's indefinite, it doesn't
sound
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Like, that's why she's correct, because that's changing parts of it or something.
So you're saying that there are some sounds that can't be known to any perceiver.
Like, what if
So
you
you're
said
saying that
consider
things
sound to
exist
change the
independent
thing,
of
because it is rock.
Music, the action.
Sounds like what you're saying.
Well, I can only speak from the perspective of this perceiver. I can't speak on behalf of perception of beings which I don't understand.
So you can't speak on behalf of logic of how perception.
Outside of reasoning,
The
absolutely.
destruction.
No.
Ultimate perception.
I can't through logic.
Yeah, right.
Ronald Reed.
Sound that's
Wait,
pointing
you
to
have
perception.
to.
Prove the existence of other perceptions.
You can prove the concept of emptiness through logic. You cannot prove emptiness
You say the destruction itself.
because emptiness is a lack of things through logic. You can prove its conceptual understanding.
So,
So you can't ever know things that you don't know now. But wait,
Yes, you can, absolutely.
In the case of karma, in the case of a karma,
You
we
can't
say
tell me
that
what the experience is through reality, even though I experience through sound.
But you're talking about sounds that are known.
I didn't say sound was not knowable.
You asked me if I believe that sound was a knowable thing, you said that sound wasn't a knowable thing.
I said it's not all sound.
Okay, fine.
What do you mean by defining knowable?
Able to be perceived.
Definition of existence. Okay, we're ready. 3 minutes, 1 second.
Wait, is that a working past or a non-existent? Like 1 second in relationship to the time of the class.
That would be because.
Your exact past.
What's the result? Right, so
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we get to perception of all sounds.
Did you make sure everybody's name is on the thing? First and last name?
Well, we didn't finish.
We'll finish.
No.
Okay.
we actually got that.
Rachel, can you make sure everybody's name is on top of the
Can you
thing,
guys
first
write
and
your
last
names
name?
there? Write your name, pass it around.
Bundy,
Oh,
make sure
yeah.
everybody's name in your group is at the top of the thing, first and last. For karmic seeds, say. Stephen's last name is McManus.
You can do short here.
Oh.
Are you guys putting your names on that one?
Yeah, I put all of our names.
Everyone?
Here, right there.
So it's normal for you.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. Because Chandler and I
Yeah,
were
those
in
scores.
this year.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you would all be group. Because the name,
So it's good that we did it together because, Rachel, that's great.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
I guess from the perspective of.
What can you add here, the purple elephant?
All.
Because it's the closest I could get for an image of.
Also, they're knowable for one person.
Oh.
Like, you're talking about the thing that you denied, that time.
A Buddha is a lack of perspective. Buddha is not a major.
Buddha can't relate to things as a perceiver.
Separate from other things.
All you can say
I
is,
know, because some things-
all you can say is you perceive that.
Yeah,
But
but
if
there's,
a Buddha,
I'm not perceiving the Buddha, so I can't.
but aren't,
Yeah,
but you
okay,
can-
you can watch the-
but aren't we agreeing that the Buddha is omniscient?
Yes.
So
Validation of
then
things
how
through.
is, how can you say
I just
that?
say you perceive
Direct.
it.
Right, well, that's what I was, that's why I said, agree in this school,
Yeah,
right? In
Smash.
our
And then he
school,
sidestepped me.
say
Yeah,
that
we-
Buddha
Wait, did
is
you guys
omniscient,
find out the last three?
so therefore Buddha would know sound.
Yeah, they have.
What is it?
The last three like that.
How would we test that?
What, last three, what, 9 or 10?
I was gonna be able to lift my head.
Contradictory reason.
Oh, I know because Buddha says so.
Yeah.
Isn't that a thing?
You can use Dharma.
Can't
as a
you use
proof.
Dharma as a proof?
Definite reason and inaccurate
But I'm
reason.
saying, like,
Contradictory.
but doesn't the Dharma say that Buddha is omniscient?
I did not, I perceive that it does, and then you perceive that it does.
How's your mind?
I
can see it,
Outside of
right?
this logical argument.
Good.
I think we all do.
Sincerely thought that, okay.
We all do sincerely
What was the
believe
second?
that Dharma states that.
Right.
Alistair, can you give me the paperwork?
Yeah.
Apparently not. Contradictory, indefinite, and inaccurate.
You said unbound space. Objects are things, ideas and objects. This thing is under the definition. Alright, so sorry, what's in the- Well, like this pencil's an object. I'm following your idea. Yes, it's a thing.
When you say thought is an object of the mind. Would you say that? Is that correct? Thought is an object of the mind.
Everything is an object of the mind.
Well, so everything's an object, like emptiness is an object, unbound
Of
space
the
is an
mind, you
object.
place your mind on an object. In terms of talking about what you place your mind on. Now, is it a real thing? Is it a thing? If you're in the logic school and it performs a function, then it's ultimately a thing. If you're in the logic school, which is where we're at, right, and it doesn't perform a function, it's not. That's why for them, ultimate reality is that which is very different to what we've been learning, right? And the reason we learn that is so we can, when we get our minds there going, oh, I just had a realization of an ultimate thing, because anything that functions is a real thing, therefore it's ultimate. You get there. Logically, we always get there. That's just depending on origination in accordance to the high school. So there's a push you can do
To the high school, to the.
imagining.
Yeah, he's five.
But
What's the difference between the logic school and the non-logic school?
the logic school is the second school there. Logic school
Yeah,
is
in
the
this.
second school.
In this.
Oh, it is in
Yeah.
So why are we studying?
So,
So you know when your mind gets there, you understand that there is another step up of perception. There's a more subtle way. It's not that it's wrong. It's that there's a more subtle way to look at the way you're experiencing reality. That will perform a function. That thought process will help you get somewhere. But if you get stuck there, you're just going to level out, and there's more to go.
yeah, but the difference between the logic school and the Pasifika school, in the view of emptiness, is that in the logic school, emptiness is a thing because it provides a function.
No, they said it's no.
Yeah.
Okay, is it changing thing?
Emptiness is the thing they all have a ganga, which is the thing we deny, and they deny that there could ever be an ultimate thing that doesn't perform a function, that doesn't have parts. Right? So that's what they're deny.
Meaning that's not.
And they did it for a while.
I've got a nice chart
Productive and
that
boring.
helps you look at dependent origination per school.
There are many in
emptiness
Romania.
per
Like by my
school,
apartment, there's actually two loading places and a
Is
gym.
emptiness inherent the quality of emptiness?
Apparently, to some people it is.
From
Yeah.
that.
But for the one that the lineage that we're studying is. So
Where is that chart?
it's in my computer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
Is emptiness inherent quality?
is that cool?
Yeah, but in a way, I'm not to criticize the ACI courses, but I feel like this school should have been taught like 10 courses ago. Because I already have something that I have proven to myself.
Yeah.
That this is like, no.
Then why is it being taught here, do you think? In the logic debate class? Because you have to debate with other people.
In the logic debate class.
You know, so you have to.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Who learned language in the past? Language. Who was born with language, being able to speak deep words like onomatopoeia?
That's not even a word.
That is a word.
That is a word.
Onomatopoeia.
Huh?
You said onomatopoeia.
Well, he's
What's the
Australian.
word?
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia? Anyway, something with pia. And
Onomatopoeia.
It's amazing that it was like almost a really good trip.
yeah. You have just done, for the last 10 classes, something quite profound, although it might not feel that way. When you first learned sounds and then put little squiggly letters in relation to those sounds, and you began to learn that that character meant that thing, that's not really what that squiggly means. But for you, it began to be that. Yeah? A, B, C, or if you're in Brooklyn, F and A, F and B, anyway. So that's how they learn the alphabet. And so, sorry. I can't help myself. JL, that's right, JMCL. So you did that, and look at the service that understanding the link between a sound and a squiggly has done to your life. You're able to read, and with reading you're able to articulate concepts and bring conceptions together and then come up with new conglomerations of configurations of those squigglies related to sound that you don't even think about it. It's so second nature. So I propose it's like this, like with everything. Be your mind, new information. Yeah? And you can look at new information as crappy, good, bad, excellent, useful, very useful, tiny useful. Right? Ultimately, emptiness and bodhicitta is what you're trying to get to. Yeah? You're squiggly. And this is your mind. And then you go like that for an ACI class for 2 hours. And then you stop. And then you go away. And then you come back. And you do that for 2 hours. Yeah? Then you stop. And then you do that. So I'm going to do that throughout the class. And you know what the result is. Every effort that you put to learning this stuff that is hard is like those squigglies for your spiritual life, for all of eternity, for that mind. If you've proven to yourself already the proof of past and future lives. You've just done that to the substance of your consciousness in relation to an ultimate understanding of what the hell is going on when my consciousness meets stuff. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Yeah? And that cannot be taken out. It's already changing color. You can't take out the tea from water once it has mixed in. Yeah? So what you have done is that in relation with the motivation, with the hope to ultimately peel away the matrix that we experience. You know, factually, we've proved it to ourselves enough times that the experience we have of this universe is dependent or correlated to the sense windows we have that are uniquely human. Yeah? And it doesn't take a leap of intelligence to understand that the thought processes associated to that stimuli is also uniquely, whatever we call this realm, human. It's not that you are human and therefore humans see this. It's that because you see and experience this, that's what makes you human. It's an upside down way of looking at existence. And you have just done that to your mind in relation to really difficult stuff. But according to what we've been studying, this coloring multiplies every evening, times 2, 2, 4, 4 becomes 8, and so on. You must, unless the game is over, ka-ching, you carked it, and then you reset, and impulses come. Unless you die, you get a chance to see this doubling in your mind every 24 hours. That's why it's important to do the motivation truly before we get into this stuff. You are in control. It doesn't feel like it, but you are in control. So I commend you. It's the hardest course. It's stuff that we are not thinking about. But how hard was it to see that that was the sound A? How hard must it have been? I mean, I don't know if any of you remember. I remember being set on a stool. My mum was washing in South America with that washboard thing. Yeah. And she'd make me get this book and say stuff. And it was such a painful thing. I just wanted to jump off and, and she'd sit down. What's that say? I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. It was painful. So I have a yucky feeling about learning language and learning to read. And then we moved to Australia, so it was like, yay, I didn't have to do that. And then the English teacher's like, okay, Hector, stand up, read from me. I'm like, panic. Yeah, because I never learned to read properly. You've just done something amazing to your mind. Yeah? Something incredible to your mind. And it must have an effect. Now, it can sit there and, what's another word for duplicate? So multiply at its own rate, or if you've been studying, especially in ACI 5, understand the nature of ultimate reality the best you can, you have tools in your toolkit to make that speed up. You have tools in your toolkit to make that experience of what you've learned here turn into something daily, minute by minute, with the power of your meditation, your concentration, your focus, with the power of your restraining, your vows, your holding back from old habits. Yeah, you've got enough tools to turn anything on steroids already. If you've reached ACI 13, even if you've done a few of them, nobody's coming over and knocking on your door, Sarah, and saying, let me multiply your dunchis in your kunchis. Right? No one. Sorry. I wish there was, right? And if you do it right, you will get the experience that every being is doing it. And is that true? Is that possible? Every being, every gesture, every sound, is it possible that everyone's trying to help Sarah get enlightened? Is it ultimately true from its own side? No. Are they just schmucks walking around New York selfishly wanting their own crap from their own side? No. So if you have some way of interpreting that data, at the beginning it would be like writing A. Yeah. But then is a habit now. I show you the letter A and you cannot not experience it. Yeah? So the more you in your mind, the more your mind then is forced to see things through this lens, through this color. You can't undo it. It's got to live its course. It's got to do its thing. Then with this mind, you go and do something virtuous. And it's got to be colored through this lens. With this mind, you go and do something habitually unvirtuous. It's got to have an effect through this lens. Right? You have the power.
To be clear,
Huh? I know, it's a negative metaphor. Grow up. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? You have tools to get to nooks and crannies of your mind that can color all of existence. When you walk out there and you see busy New York, it's going to be like drawing the letter A. It's hard to think that they're not selfish, self-interested humans desperately trying to get money or whatever people do. But every gesture could be interpreted, if you've got the mental habit, as trying to help me wake up. Just this could be that. Just this could be that. Just this could be that. All of it. Why? Because it doesn't come from that way. It comes from this way. If you've got those tools already, then you've just done a profound study of deep recesses of the mind, how it wiggles, yeah, to come up with what seems to be an automatic experience of reality. So all I want to do today is review that set your mind in motion for what you should do for the next 4 weeks. Rachel is going to sit here with you guys and you're going to review aspects of the class, finish your homeworks and quizzes, play with the debating one important thing, really get to create one debate that is really super important, yeah? And then we're going to get to touch the most incredible course, because this was really hard, right? The next one, why? Because it was like cerebral. The next one is the same for your heart. It's exactly the same. It's, if you're not a heart person, it's as hard as this. It's as deep as this. It might be harder than this, because you get a few little words and they pitch you into a sense of awe for the rest of your day. Yeah, it's like it's lojong, so it's mind training, and it's turning your heart on steroids. It's really a powerful way of forcing you to walk around your planet and get that power that I was just talking about. Yeah, so the next course is as hard as it is to your heart. So we're balancing out deeply cerebral, deeply whatever the other side of cerebral is. Okay, let's go. Let's free your mind. I'm going to ask questions which all come from the quiz, and you're going to see what you remember, and then you're going to go, no, but this, and yes, but no. Okay, here we go. The first thing I want to do is remind me and yourselves the easiest way you can explain why we are studying debate. What is it that debate does to our thought process? The way I tried to start this course.
It interrupts the logical patterns in your mind.
Great.
To keep you stuck in the cycle of suffering.
Great. So interrupts it, right? And I said that we can interrupt assertions that we have about our existence that usually come into 3 packets into 1 pill, right? And the 3 packets that come into 1 pill that says, I just felt yucky from the subway, it must have been the lady who farted, yeah? So in my mind, it's like, consider my yucky feelings, right? They come from the lady that, because she farted, right? So it has these 3 components: the subject matter, consider something, as an assertion, this happened because of that, and then the reason is, this is why, right? And we do that millisecond by millisecond. This experience, breaking down thought patterns like we have, will help us break those negative patterns that keep us locked in cycles of suffering, millisecond by millisecond. But ultimately, the big one that it will break is what? What's the big thing that it will break?
Viewing reality as something.
Yeah, yeah, viewing that. Well, nice. You gave me the first. At least creating some doubt that your judgment on other people is not the only way that person is. Yeah, it will open up the possibility that beings around you are not only what you experience them to be. They could be teaching you a lesson, right? It will place some doubt on doing a negative karma in your mind. Because what happens when you plant a negative some of this, you dirty the waters. Yeah? So the other thing, I don't know if any of you remember, so I'm going to now chastise you, yeah, because I did a little experiment at the beginning of this course. I asked you to really think the motivation for this course to be a way to address your most important issue facing you, the habit that attacks you mostly mentally or in day to day. And you all wrote down the thing I want to use my logic understanding for is to destroy this negative habit that I've got. Who remembers that? I do, because I did it on purpose, right? You remember yours?
I don't remember what it is.
Right, but you remember we did it, right?
Yeah,
it was so
I
nice,
remember.
right? And we were going
Do you
to,
keep the papers?
I kept some of the papers, some of them you kept.
Oh.
And this is the chastising part. Nobody is going to change your life for you. Even when your life is changed by other people, it was still you, okay? If you don't actively say, out of all the busyness I can have in my life, this is what I'm focusing on, the thing that interprets all of life, your mind, yeah? The thing that interprets all existence. Every interaction on the phone, everything on the iPhone, everything in your thoughts, everything in your house, everything is engaged with by your mind. And if your mind looks like this, and this is bodhicitta, that's a good thing. If your mind is like this, and this is muddy, not so good, yeah? And if your mind is sometimes this and not too often, then you're in with the rest of us. So the reason I did that exercise at the beginning really was to see whether or not anybody said, I'm sick of it, I've got renunciation, right? And I'm gonna fix that one thing. So I'm gonna ask you to do it again, okay? I'm gonna ask you to spend 5 minutes. No, I won't ask you to spend 5 minutes, I lied. I apologize. I'm gonna ask you to spend 1 minute and think about the thing that blocks you, the main thing that blocks you. Don't give me a philosophical answer, give me Rachel's real answer. Give me Javier's real answer. I'll tell you Hector's most frequent interruption to bliss. Yeah? And it's that you can't do it. You're worthless. You're stupid, you're old, you're ugly, it's got all these iterations, but you're normal. Who are you to wake up? Who are you to? You don't deserve it, you fat little ethnic boy. Right, like etc., etc., etc. It's got all these beautiful, and you're gay. Look at that. No, but really, when I want to find out what is the main blocker to practice, and when you get in meditation and you sit there and you're about to go in, the echo of those things come. I know that's the main one for me. Yeah, it keeps me. It's got a power in my mind to go boom, back down. What is yours? Because that's the one you should be attacking with logic. What is your blocker, your main blocker, you know? I've turned some of that negativity very cleverly to avoid getting really depressed or really terrible. And I joke about it. I become contradictory with people all the time. It's my debating, yeah? But it's all an aspect in relation to that thing, which can dissolve when you debate it. So I'm going to ask you, before we review the class, what's the thing you really should fix? No bullshit. The thing you really should fix. And the reason I'm asking is I'm about to go to China with a group of people. We devised an awesome game called the Wheel of Life for all these little kids. And they get to give us 3 answers, right? They begin being snake, chicken, and pig, like they get the thing, and they give us 3 answers about what they want or don't want. If they give us a seed answer, we put them on the upward bardo, right? And then Mr. Death eats them up, and they go through a big tube, and they get pooped out in one of the realms. And it's either a good realm or a crappy realm, okay? And the point of the game is you can do as much good as you want, and at some point someone's going to press the reset button. That's also a karma, and you have to start again, right? You die. You only have a short time. You don't know how long you've got to get rid of this habit. But you can do, I've lost the thing. You can do the logic part. You can put a dent into Hector, you're not good enough. Karma. Yeah? So get in there, write it down. Take a minute.
We have to write it down on
The thing
that we're going to hand it to you?
You don't have to hand it to me.
Oh, okay.
It's for you. And the reason I mean you don't have to hand it to me is because I want you to be as honest as possible. Nobody's going to discover it. And although you should, if you really want to fix it, if you want to play with karma, you should post it up on your T-shirt saying, "I think I'm a loser, everyone." You know, and put it out there.
Is that we're glad to be here, King?
.com. There's no other reason to learn this stuff, people. And if you're writing it with some pain, good. Good. You're onto something. You're not lying to yourself. So now I'm going to invite you to look at what you're thinking about, what you're feeling, or what you wrote down. And I'm going to say this to you, okay? It's not your fault. Because you don't want it. It's not your fault. It's okay. You popped in with it. Okay, at least with the coloring. It's not your fault. It's your responsibility though. It's not something you should feel guilty about. It is something you should apologize for. Maybe you apologize to yourself. Maybe you apologize to yourself if you know where it came from. Because it's in you. Other things might trigger it, but it's in you. There's no escaping it by punching out someone out there or avoiding them. If it's in you, it's in you. Say sorry to you. Maybe say sorry from the person before who did it to you. When you were that before you. And in the logic school, that is the you that was here, that started in relation to you, that also finished in relation to you. Right? But stop avoiding it. Stop dancing around it because it holds the compass, it holds power over you. So then just flip it a little bit. So say sorry. Recognize it. It's in you. And no one coming knocking to fix it. It wants to live there and it wants to grow every 24 hours. Yeah? It's got momentum. So then and in Lojong, hopefully we'll get to this, you can use the momentum and peel away the yuckiness. These are two things, the momentum and the yuckiness, the thing that stops you. So now I'd like you to think, what if that thing you wrote down, if it's really important, what if it wasn't there, you fixed it? What if it disappeared? And maybe it's not going to disappear the way you think it's going to disappear. Maybe the energy behind it, you'll still feel the inertia. But because you understand where it comes from, you can change the way it appears to you by planting the right seeds. And imagine like writing letters, A, B, like learning like that. You learn a new relationship to that inertia, and it flips. And then all of a sudden, you're the expert at fixing that. No longer the victim of it. You ride the tiger. And you move from being dragged by it to riding it and controlling it with all the force and energy that it's got you by now. That all of a sudden, you're the expert at it. You know how to get free from it. Now imagine how many beings you could help relieve them. What power you have. How strong you are. Because of that terrible thing. How strong you are. So it's in you. Yeah? What an opportunity you have. Imagine a world without that. Imagine everyone without that thing you've got. So what else is there to do other than the things we have inside us? Yeah. So you grab one and you fix it. And then you grab the other one and you fix it. You flip it. After that, the rest are easy. You're like, oh, I've done this. Hopefully before the reset button. Yeah. But know that even if the reset button comes, something will propel you to do that again. Yeah. So let's start class. Yeah. I really want you to think about the reason for studying all this heady stuff is to do that practically. Why? Because it disrupts the pattern of believing Hector's worthless from his own side. I might feel worthless, yes. I might do something, it might not work out, yes. Doesn't mean I'm worthless, right? But I keep thinking this. Yeah, of course it does. You feed it by thinking it. You feed it by being in relation to it in that ignorant way. You make that crap alive. So say sorry, fix it. Stop being dragged by it, write it. Motivation, fix the others. If you fix it, you can fix the world. Why? And you know you can, logically, because it's empty. So, ready? Let's look at your freeing your mind. Do you remember what people do before debates? Ah, damn it. Do you remember they pray a lot? I didn't know that went forward. Do you remember?
They do 4 prayers.
So once a month, they do like a really big, heavy intention. Sort of what I just tried to get us to do now. Sort of what we did at the beginning of this course. So the imprint in your mind is the tea bag in there for a long time. Yeah? So then everything we do is in relation to that. Okay, and then every time they debate, just before they really think, let me help the world, understanding how my mind works. We're cool? You all look very serious. Is it because I made you think of depressing things?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Fix it. But there's no getting out of it. You can mope and groan and go, oh, I've been dragged here, oh, I'm so useless, whatever your story is. Sorry, you know, the most compassionate I can be with you is get the hell over it. You're not helping anyone. Sorry. That's the most compassionate I can be. Now, if you're so in the depths of it that you're lost in it, okay, fair enough. I might not tell you the truth. I might go, okay, I'm sorry.
Too late.
Yeah, right, you can go. No. Seriously, you have power available to you. It's scary when you get on the tiger. Yeah, because it's roaring and it's nuts. Okay. Yeah, do you remember some of the powers you get through the process of debate? You develop, I think, four intelligences. Do you remember what they were? Come on.
It's
not doing what I want.
Why?
like from slow to flow.
Yeah, from slow to flow. But you get this, right? It's just a reminder. You get swift, right? So the reason I want you to practice the debate tree is at least pick one debate that you're going to get so good at that if you say consider sound is a changing thing because I can hear it, I know that I could give 2 or 3 answers to that, right? Yeah, of course, then debate's over. So if they say yes, I go, okay. Or if they say yes and I know the debate is wrong, I'm saying, so are you saying that? And then I can switch the debate to something I want them to, yeah? So then if they say, no, your reason's wrong, I'm like, then you challenge their reason. You're saying, okay, this or that. I just want you to practice that. It will make you swift. It will make things clear for you, etc., etc., etc. Yeah? Let's get somebody to remind, did I put that up there? Not yet.
There it is.
Ah! Okay. Someone
Read that.
read that for me. Someone tell me, good. The posture, it's gone now. I gave you a preview. Javier, you can demonstrate.
I can never
Yeah,
say. Why
you'd
not?
be the attacker. Richard,
Let's see
you'd
how
be
much
the
you're
defender.
Defender.
Yeah,
Well, I don't have to do anything.
you don't. So give me the metaphor. So when you're debating, eventually you're going to get here. But for now, I just want you to do the debates in your mind, right? With
So first,
yeah,
you thank the defender
yep. Why?
because they are helping you have realizations in your mind. You look at them as a Buddha.
Yeah,
You go
excellent.
straight to them.
Yeah.
Then you grab your mala,
Mala or your mala?
your mala.
Okay.
You pull it up to your kunchi. No. You pull up all the minds and beings from the lower realms, and it's supposed to stay up there.
Yep.
And then lift your foot and your right hand up. This is wisdom, this is compassion, and the sound of the doors of hell shot into your mind and all living beings.
All the ones you removed.
All
Excellent.
the
Very
ones that
nice.
remove, and you say, consider sound. It's a changing thing because it's made like a water pitcher.
Oh, nice.
Was I right?
Yeah, I don't know. If you were right, it's a stupid debate because then he's going to go, yeah.
No.
Okay.
Was I right about that?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
Was he right? Did he miss anything?
I think I missed it.
You're supposed to throw them all down, right?
No.
Well,
It
you
comes
pull it
down
up.
when you get.
Pull it up.
Yeah, and it comes down when you clap. Good. So you did everything right. The mala, the stomping. We didn't talk about the taunting. What happens if he's slowing down? His answer's not coming really quickly. What do you go? Yeah. Good. Yeah, you taunt and you go, come on, get some wisdom into you, whatever.
Come on, wisdom.
You get some. This is the part I like the most, even though I don't. Flow with it. Yeah. Is you disrupt your opponent, you throw them wobbly. Come on, I asked you a question. What are you saying? You're deaf or whatever. You taunt them. Why? Because you're mean.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you do. Yeah. Why? To develop those intelligences, you want to get swift, right? They have to get single pointed on hearing the logic in that statement or the broken logic in that statement. Yeah, so as a defender, you're sitting there and you're trying to be as cool and calm and collected, and through not doing anything, you try and distract him. Looking like that's such an easy question. Yeah? And then you can control as a defender as well, right? But you are trying to disrupt him so he can not focus on things. Why? Because you're trying to get him to get attention on something. Cool. Okay, and then we have a structure for the logical statement. Now, it's not a correct logical statement until you proved it, and then we talked about what proves a correct logical statement. But give me the essence of a logical statement, something that's laid out in logical form.
Subject, assertion.
Say it really loud.
You need a subject, an assertion about the subject, and a reason for the assertion, and potentially an example.
Excellent. Everyone agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
So did I put that up there? It's not coming up. Okay, good. So you do the subject, consider something, you do some assertion. We're always doing this, by the way. We're doing it millisecond for millisecond, and when you break it down and you look at this structure of the way we experience and think about the world, and then based on this, we act. Based on this, we act. Yeah? We'll say, consider my feeling yucky. It was the fat lady because she farted. Yeah? All of a sudden, my sensation of feeling yucky happened with the chubby lady on the train. And I can move on from that, right? But that's not true. I don't take responsibility for my yucky feeling. I don't understand where it came from. Not only that, I've just judged another person, and now begin to build some idea about chubby people, right? Which will only be experienced in whose mind in the future? As judgment or, yeah? Next time anyway. What are some of the answers? See who can remember. Duh, which is, I agree. Yeah,
Agree.
of course. So then you got no argument, yeah? Unless, actually, let me ask you, what's a good logical statement to start a debate with? Yay. What's a really good way to start a debate? How do you craft a really clever logical statement that will win?
Something wrong.
Almost right.
Excellent, yeah. So you say something that sounds so right, but you know there's something quite off, a little bit off about it, but we're not going to get there yet until we figure out the relationships, right? But that's it. So if you ask something that sounds good, they might say duh, and then you got charge of the debate. You're like, are you saying such and such? Yeah, good. So duh is the first one. Then
The assertion.
which means
Oh, yeah, I don't remember. Reason to that.
why? Yeah. And then you have kiabamachun, which means the reason is not right. And then you have
No, it's the reason's okay.
but the assertion is not right. Thank you. And then you have the reason one, which is tanadru.
Not necessarily.
And you don't have to be fully stuck on those. This is a good guideline. There are other answers. This is a good basic. If you actually read the course, it's like 14 or something different answers. But this is enough, yeah, to get through an argument. So let's see if you remember. Now, just going through this. Where is the literature that we're actually learning this from?
Oh, the keys to
In
logic.
your mind.
No.
Key to the logic machine, but what's the main one, the chunky one, the one that,
Dora.
the Dura is the steps of the logic stuff. But where did the Dura come from? It's summarized from somewhere else. From what? It is from the monastery, but no, there's a root text. There's a root text. Come on. You learned it in ACI, something else. What are we talking about when we're talking about your dunchis and your kunchis?
The higher algorithm kosher.
No, close. Come on. What are we learning? What are we talking about? When we're talking about
The perfection of
No.
wisdom, no.
We're talking about what? When you're challenging people's perceptions.
Oh, the
Perceptions.
perception.
Their
Pramana
experience.
Vartika?
Yeah, cool. Pramana Vartika, right? Is that right? Let's have a look. From Master Dharma Kirti, it's commentary on valid perception. Thank you. Stephen wins Buddhism again, right? And then you were talking about each monastery has a thing, and we had ours, Keto Logic Machine. Yeah, and we're talking about valid perception. And remember the difference between a valid perception and a correct valid perception? Know that there's a difference, okay?
Correct is ultimate. Correct valid perception.
Well, correct valid perception and valid perception, how do you differentiate them?
Valid perception doesn't necessarily, like,
You can validly see something in a certain way, but it might not be correct.
ultimately
Yeah?
true.
Ultimately true. That's a good way of thinking about it.
So I guess it's, you only have a correct valid perception if you've seen emptiness or something like that.
That's a nice thing. I think Majimika would say that. Give me now 3 reasons to study this stuff from the text that you learned. Now, you have to do the letters, by the way. You have to relate it to that thing you're fixing, right? But I'm saying there's 3 ultimate reasons for studying how to break down your mind's logic mistakes, yeah? Because if you see the mistakes, it wasn't the fat lady that you felt bad for, Hector. It was something in you. You better fix it. If you think it's out there, I'm going to try and make everybody thin, right? Mistake. Wasted life.
The words valid and correct. Can you maybe
Yeah,
define
yeah.
like what you mean by
Sure.
them?
So let's take animal realm, human realm. Badly perceive the same object in 2 different ways. From a human perspective, this looks like a glass. From an ant perspective, this looks like a hell realm full of boiling water. I'm going to die. Yeah? Validly correct for them. Validly perceived. Valid. Yeah? Correct. Valid perception means?
It's true.
So if you take both those beings, or all the other realms, then it's true for all of them.
Right.
And so then it has to have something to do with wisdom. Now, you could also argue that within the human realm, you could have a correct, valid perception about this, because it means this is, your perception of this is congruent with what this really is for that realm.
Yes.
Yeah?
According to its function.
Yeah, exactly. So then you go through the schools, etc.
That's a separate definition of correct valid perception.
We'll get
It
to
will
it.
depend on what school you're debating.
Oh.
We'll get to it. Yeah? I just put it up there because I want you to think about it. I put it up there because I know a bunch of things are going to go, ugh. I want you to have them. And you need to come to peace with them.
I understand it. That's great.
Good.
I understand, to a degree, what's being said. I think there may be better words that can be used in English to describe that, though, because normally valid and correct are kind of synonymous.
Yeah, not here. Valid for the group of perceivers, correct from an ultimate or relative sense.
Right.
Moving on. Give me the 3 reasons why we should study this. This is a Rachel question. Huh?
Yeah. I think I forget one of them though. Preserve the teachings for the future to bring you to the direct perception of emptiness, which you created for the sake of all beings.
Yeah, you have to speak loud so they can all hear you too.
Should I say it again?
Yeah.
Okay. To preserve the teachings for the future.
Yeah.
To throw you into a direct perception of emptiness so that you can reach Buddhahood for the sake of all beings.
Yeah.
And
There's a negative reason. The only negative reason. They're both positive. There's one negative reason.
so you don't create negative karma.
So you don't fall.
You don't go to hell?
Yeah.
So you don't fall.
So you don't fall. What does that mean?
Oh, so you don't judge others because only a Buddha or someone like them can judge others.
Okay, now, they're good answers. Tell me what it means in relation to the thing you wrote about yourself. Give it to me in words that make sense to me. What's having a direct perception of emptiness going to do to help me understand this, get over this thing?
You don't spend the rest of your life just going over the same stupid problems.
Because you think they're self-existent, right? And getting to a direct experience of it, how does logic help you get there?
It defeats all of the arguments in your mind against them.
Nice. And I think Maitreya said there are 2 kinds of students, right? One of them was they follow somebody, the dull students, right? They follow it because of faith. Oh, I like Michael. I'm just going to go hang out with him. I feel good. It serves its purpose. It's not that it's bad. It's just a little dull. Why? They don't have for themselves, the second thing, the capacity to prove it to themselves. What's it called? Because of sharp reasoning. Yeah? So you do the mental gymnastics and understand that that thing doesn't come from itself. You have to, through logic, through understanding how your mind is trying to force reality on you and all these crazy assumptions, that they don't function that way under investigation. And that's why you should be sitting your ass on the meditation cushion. Yeah, it's not to space out while everyone gets cancer. It's really to dig to the main blockers of your happiness, the main blockers of the thing that is niggling at your life. So get that really clear. Sure, it's gonna,
And happiness level.
and well, nice. You just leveled it up in scope, right? So you sharpen the pencil. You get the letter A habitually in your mind. You keep doing that. Hope that gets darker. Yes. Well, I was trying to get black tea in my mind. I like bloody herbal tea. Yeah. But
I'm in the wrong school.
yeah, I'm in the wrong school. I'm in the subtle. Anyway. So you said keeping Dharma safe in the world was the second reason, right? What the hell does that do? Keep Dharma safe in the world. There's lots of places like the Tibetans had all the Dharma very safe in their monasteries, and then they got bombed. So what?
Oh, so the idea,
Constantly testing it so that false Dharma does not.
the idea is, sorry, to really own those realizations so you can actually teach them to somebody else.
Yeah, but how do you get the realizations? We're studying logic, right?
Through logic,
Through logic.
analysis.
Through analysis, this debate,
Challenging it all the
breaking
time.
it down. And so the quote was from Sakya Pandita, I think it was. Yep.
Yeah.
Prove it to yourself, your own mind. That's how you keep Dharma in the world. What world do you have other than your own experience of it? Thank you. Back to you. Let's see if we add bodhicitta to our motivation. Thank you. What is still hot? Yes, not quite. Let's try. Okay, thank you, Scott. Okay. What's the quote say? Because I can't read it.
Suppose a person comes to understand the scriptural tradition for how to reason, this art of proving or disproving things. A master like this is a person who keeps the teachings of the totally enlightened Buddhas safe here in the world.
Do you see why? It's one thing to go, I'm keeping Buddha's books alive. Nice. Yeah? But what does it mean to know that through logic you can prove them? You've experienced that proof. That Dharma is alive in here. What's the ultimate Dharma? Dharma just also means object, you, right? Existing thing. But what's the ultimate Dharma? The ultimate is emptiness, right? Because with that, you can tell everything. Understanding that, you can understand everything. Ultimate Dharma. It's not because someone told you you should learn it. It's not why we're learning it. It's because it can free you from everything. You got it? Yep. Get excited, people. Okay. And the third, who was the quote from You'll Fall?
The Buddha.
Do you remember the quote?
You should never judge anybody
Me or someone like we can judge someone.
Right.
Those who do
Jesus. Let's see what the computer says. Computer says,
only I or someone.
someone read it. I can't read it.
Only I or someone like me is able to judge another person. No other person should ever judge another, for they will surely fall.
So what does that mean? Are you supposed to just trust Mr. Buddha and go, okay, sir?
Yes.
So then you're one of two kinds of students, according to my triad, right? You're the first one.
Okay.
That's okay. That will get you somewhere. right? But having the back of your mind, you better understand why, right? So then you have to understand, well, what is a Buddha? How do they see the world? You know, is there just one Buddha or are there many Buddhas? Is my mind able to reach that state? And if it reaches that state, will I be able to say that text? Will I be able to accurately say that thing? When I have the experience of my own mind, like a Buddha has an experience of their own mind, which is possible because your mind is empty of having the nature of being the way you think it is.
Yes.
Yeah? That's what your Buddha nature is. It's the emptiness of your mind now and the emptiness of your mind as a Buddha is exactly the same thing. Or it isn't. That will not change. And at that time, will you be able to say that? And do you know what that means? Okay?
Yes.
These are the 3 reasons we're learning this stuff. So so remember there were 3, sometimes 4 parts to a logical statement. They were considered, subject, then assertion, something about the subject.
Because it's a reason.
Okay.
Like
you cannot give me the definition of a reason.
Anything that's being given for a solution.
I think.
Sorry.
You told me I
paralyzed.
Thank you. And you're going to go, duh, or you're going to say, that's not necessarily so, or you're going to say something. Whatever you say. Can you give me the definition of a reason?
Anything that you give as a reason?
Anything put forth as a reason. Did I say good reason?
No.
Did I say bad reason?
No.
I just said reason. Let's see if computer says right or wrong. Computer says the definition of a reason.
Nice.
And it sounds circular, get over it. It's just saying this is what a reason is. Anything you say is a reason. I like the flower because of cats. My reason is a reason because I just made it a reason. That's okay. Is it right?
Depends on the cat.
It depends on the cat. We'll get to what makes a correct reason, not a valid reason. Yeah?
I think that's important in and of itself.
Of course it is, because it implies that there is a thing out there. Anything can be a reason, right? Anything can be a reason. Everything can be a reason. Everything is a reason for something else, right? Okay. Next question is, are you okay doing this or you need a little break?
No, keep going.
No? Cool. Are you all sleepy or is it just me that's excited?
We're excited. Oh,
Ooh, like it's getting dark.
It's getting dark. Look, this was the metaphor. Give me a definition for an existing thing.
Changing thing.
Give me a definition for an existing thing.
Something that functions.
Anything that you can see the development perception.
Anything you can. Is that true?
I think that's
Are you
reality.
here? Give me the definition of existing thing.
Anything
I was saying cause.
Huh?
Something that's cause. No.
No.
anything that can be perceived through a valid perception.
Correct. Thank you. I'm supposed to place doubt in your mind, and you should be steadfast in your knowing. He gave the right answer. Come on, people. Okay? Give me, do you remember we had trouble with synonyms for existence?
Hector, what if it's perceived as an invalid perception? Then it's not an existing thing anymore?
Right.
Well, no, it could still be. Just because.
Oh, it could, yeah.
What?
She said, what if it's the flower is perceived with an invalid perception? And what's an invalid perception?
Yeah, like if you're angry.
Like on LSD or something.
If you're in LSD, if you're hyper angry, you're super drunk, or something.
What if you perceive a flower that's not there on LSD?
Right.
Then is that an existing thing?
No, because there is no flower like that. But there is,
But it's
your
not
mental image of a flower is, right?
In that state, you
I
wouldn't
think-
be able to tell the difference between necessarily an existing thing and non-existing thing.
What was your keyword?
It's not saying anything that is perceived with a valid perception. It's saying anything which can be perceived with a valid perception.
But I think the objection is so much.
Good. Sort out your objection. At least we hit the ground. I'm moving through the questions. You with me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. Give me the synonyms for existence.
Functioning.
Hmm?
Knowable.
Knowable. Nice.
People.
Okay. We moved the curtain. Yeah. I'll give it to you. It's not super important. The main question in the final is number 4. But here are some synonyms for existence. Yeah. Knowable thing, a dharma, a you, an object, established as existing, etc. Okay. Why are we talking about that in the logic debating class?
Because you have to define, like, in order to debate someone, you have to define things honestly.
Yeah. So you have to find common ground, right? And say, well, this exists, that doesn't exist. You start to get these answers for yourself and the beings you're connecting with, right? I can debate the fact of emptiness with an ant, but I shouldn't. Why? Unless I'm having a really special experience that's not on LSD. Yeah.
It's not gonna,
You're not.
Well, we don't have common ground. We don't have definition of language. We don't share anything in common that.
yeah, you can't improve each other's mind.
Right. So one of the big rules of debate is you cannot go debating with a person that doesn't share your common definitions or common understandings for the key elements of a logical statement, let alone have an argument with an ant. Yeah, you'd be crazy. Define and give a classic example of each of the 3 nominal divisions of things. No, that's not it. Name, define, and give one example of each of the 2 most common categories which fall under all existing things. Give it to me in Tibet. So we have everything, right? All of things. Imagine everything, nothing outside that. There is everything, okay? Imagine that that's a possible thing. For you, there'll be knowable and then some unknowable things. But imagine there is everything. 2 ways of dividing that is takpa and mitakpa. Do you remember which is which? Say it.
Takpa's changing, Takpa's changing.
Yeah, so it's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Usually, mi, ma means not. Yeah, except here. There was something weird in the translation. That's how I remember it. Okay.
That's why the translation of changing and permanent is confusing.
Correct.
Because it's changing is impermanent.
Yeah.
Mitaka is impermanent.
And look what I did for you people. You people. Yeah. So there's everything, all the pink bits. And then you have takpa and mitakpa. Changing and unchanging. Yeah? So you can imagine, let's go through it now, how many things you know that are changing. How many things do you know?
Everything that's not 2 things.
Well, nearly 99.99%, nearly all things you're experiencing are changing, right? That's why we get into a nice debate about time later. Let me share some qualities with you that are both takpa and mitakpa. And this I thought you would like. I went researching Dharma for you. Do you see them? Both of them start and end, can have a beginning and an end. Both of them can have no beginning and no end. Both of them can have a beginning and no end, and both of them can have no beginning but an end.
How could both, which both can have a beginning but no end?
Both takpa and mitakpa.
Yeah, which?
No beginning but an end. Give me something that has no beginning and an end.
That's both takpa and mitakpa.
Huh?
Ignorance has no end?
A beginning and
He said end and end.
Has no beginning but an end.
I was just debating.
Reincarnation.
If you
No beginning but can end. So
Mind inside samsara.
that's awesome. Samsara.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the experience of samsara. Nice. Okay, cool. You debate that. This is worth copying down off photograph.
Wait, which
Yeah.
one was did you give an example for a beginning but no end?
Something that has a beginning but no end. Let's try. That's nice. I don't know about that one in scripture, but I like that answer. No beginning. I just hadn't thought about it. That's why it's nice.
What, no beginning and no end?
No, he's saying a beginning but
Nirvana, yeah, Nirvana.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to get there, but I was thinking about that one first.
Which one is nirvana? What are we talking
The
about?
present.
beginning
It's
to
a
no
clever answer, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A beginning.
How can an unchanging thing
Buddhahood.
have a beginning and an end? Like,
Just we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay?
is that every?
No, it can.
Oh,
It can. It'll fall into one of these. Yeah. Take a picture of it and think about it. But check this out. This is the difference between them. These can be commonalities, yeah, which was where we were having a hard time before. But here is the key difference. And I put it there as a summary before, saying stable and moment by moment, right? Stable and moment by moment. I'm going for it. There's tapa and mitapa. The key difference is they don't arise from causes and conditions, things that are unchanging.
Do not arise.
Yeah, they're not doing this curve of, oh, I'm gradually becoming something and gradually disappearing after I've had a result. It stays stably exactly the same as soon as it comes into being, and it stops being exactly that as soon as it stops coming into being. Give you an example.
You already did, emptiness.
Yeah.
Well, emptiness. Doesn't emptiness occur and disappear based on the perception of an object? Because emptiness occurs relative to an object.
So it can come into being as soon as you call a pen. The millisecond you label that conglomerate of data pen, at that time, the emptiness of the pen exists.
which is
The lack of inherent existence of a pen from its own side. Yeah? The fact that there ain't no pen coming from that object appears as soon as you label pen. Yeah? As soon as you have a destroyed pen, elephant crushed it, at that time that your mind said, ain't no longer a pen, or logic school, the pen stopped functioning, at that time, the emptiness of that object disappears. And it never changed right throughout that period. Unless you want to say it was a working pen, a smooth pen, and then it was a not smooth pen. Yeah?
Pink pen, no ink, a pen.
Exactly. Then you go to the emptinesses of those things. There's two pens there.
You can do that with every other.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then you can do it with time and so on.
But the dunshi of the pen and the emptiness of the dunshi of the pen, see, it gets tricky because although the pen itself is gone, the idea of the pen is still a memory in your mind.
But the
Emptiness-
recollection of the
the
idea
pen-
of a pen is not the pen.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
But the
So the
emptiness
emptiness of the pen is gone.
Thank you.
the
although
emptiness of the pen was the emptiness of the
pen is
idea
there.
of the pen. Or
The
you could
emptiness-
argue that.
The emptiness
think
of
you
something
can.
is not the same as the emptiness of the idea of that.
Yeah, I think I would go there.
Because all things are perceptions anyway.
But the perception of a thing is not the same as the
I'm gonna
concept of-
ask you to take that on when you're doing your classes with her. Write it down if you want to debate it, right?
We all
It's-
remember this one.
I don't think you will, because there's more coming. Okay, give me 3 divisions of things that are changing.
3
Mental,
divisions.
physical, and other.
Yeah.
Give me an example of each. Did I put examples there? Damn it.
Matter.
Give it. So give it to me in relation to this thing here.
Your physical form.
So the fingers I've got and the body parts, yeah, sits in. So yeah, and then the mind is
Mental.
the stuff that is perceiving here, right? And what's neither?
Sense power?
No,
person.
the
Conceptual.
concept of a person.
Yeah. Explain it to me. Why is it neither?
Me.
Because it's an imputation of something, but it's not the thing itself.
Because you're not the body.
It's an
And I'm not the
You're
mind.
not the mind.
Yet I think I'm the possessor of those things,
Of those
right? It's
parts.
neither that
Yeah.
or that. Yeah. Get this. That imputation you're talking about, I'm going to rewind you to the last moment of the last class last Thursday. Where does your karma sit in the Majjhimika school?
Not person.
In that fake thing, right? That imputed thing. Okay? Just connect that, it's meaningful. What was that question? Quality. Oh, sorry, did I kill it?
No, you're good.
Good. Give me ultimate reality in relation to the logic school. I gave it to you like 3 times already. If you're a logic school person, what's ultimate reality? Nothing to do with this.
The opposite of everything.
No. No, that might be how you arrive to it.
If it's functioning.
That's it. Yeah. From this school, an ultimate thing. So all schools that are not Majjhimika Prasangika end up having some problem that things at work can't be empty. Because they're doing stuff. They just can't get the concept that functioning, causality, moving, changing is also an imputation. That's all. It's a simple way to think that every other school, even the Majjhimika, Trika, yeah, have some problem that there is some substantive stuff out there because it does something. Because it's
But only for the duration that it does that thing. They don't believe
Sure.
Sure. So how does that help you, that difference, that minor but important difference between Majjhimika and Yoga and Satantrika mind only, help you in meditation?
you might get to a point that your mind is functioning, yeah, and therefore you've reached that sense of my mind. You've reached at it through whichever method you've come to, and the fact that it's doing something, you might sit and abide there because you've reached your ultimate reality. You've been studying to reach ultimate reality. You think you've arrived at it, at the essence of mind, yeah, and that it. I'm abiding in that thing. And you just stick one more thing. That thing is also imputed. Then it will drop you into something else. That's one answer. There might be other answers from other teachers. I don't know. So, what's the definition of ultimate? When is something ultimate happening in the logic school? When it performs a function, yeah, like that. And the Majjhimika Prasangika differs in saying that even if it performs a function, that is also an imputed thing. Sorry about the drawing, it had nothing to do with it. Let's talk about, do you remember what Humdruk means? Do you remember that? Humdruk. Sorry about the links. Humdruk. Do you see the order of what I've got over there? Humdruk, Buddha, Nirvana, DPE, Chuchok.
Is it just like Buddhahood?
No, it's sort of one quality of a Buddha.
Oh, knowing everything?
Not quite.
No, seeing or something.
Based on knowing everything, you have this. What did you say?
Like omniscience.
Omniscient.
Sort of connected to that. It's not, right? That's not the translation. That sense that uncontrollably projects wherever there's a need. Yeah? So you're perceiving a world that needs wisdom, that needs compassion, a being that needs food. That's spontaneous arising. That, yeah, it's not, oh, there is a person in Africa needs 3 bowls of rice. You're not doing that, right? The quality of a Buddha that is instantaneously, what did you call it? Spontaneously arising. yeah, and projecting the answer, the solution, perfectly, knowing relative and ultimate reality. That thing is that mundra. To get that capacity as a being, which is possible quality of a mind that is empty of being the way you think it is, right? If you plan the courses for that kind of mind, you can have that kind of mind, right? That mind is the mind of a Buddha. But how can you be a Buddha? Well, you have to reach a point of no more mental afflictions, at least, right? With some omniscience. Well, how do you reach that nirvana? How do you get to nirvana? How do you get to a point where you no longer have mental afflictions? You have a direct perception of ultimate reality, which stop you from having the causes of mental afflictions, right? How do you get there?
A lot of work.
What did you say?
Dependent origination.
You have to have Chuchok beforehand. You get the, I think Chuchok is called peak or something. It's the direct perception of dependent origination, right? From the Madhyamika school now, going now, right? Madhyamika school. What does that mean? What's peak? That peak moment where you directly experience how things are dependently arising for you. Explain that process from a Madhyamika Prasangika way. What is your mind doing according to the Madhyamikas every time you experience something?
Oh, it's everything
and
that's not.
Sorry?
You're like being the opposite of everything.
Oh, no, you're getting me a different answer, but go on.
you're labeling things.
You're creating mental images, yeah, and it's labeling that, which is the process of debating, by the way, breaking down the debate. You're catching your mind going, upon this data, which you can't tell what it is, I just saw my mind impute upon it meaning, labels, edges, qualities, all this stuff. Flower. The classic example in our school, in our lineage, is what? Teapot, a pen. Oh, but you can do it with a pen. But the classic example that we've repeated here is when you are boiling tea for your lama and you've done all the things. Now, does that come from something? Does that come from your mind from its own side? Does that come from the tea kettle?
Is that the classical class just clarification?
No, it's just the classic example for the
Additional.
yeah. But the only person that are validly perceived to have had a direct perception of it on July 23rd, 19 something. Yeah.
19 something.
So we just
Yeah.
went through the anniversary.
It's really big.
Yeah, it's really vague because I can't remember the exact date. Sorry.
100 years.
Pretty sure. Yeah, but July 23rd was just a few days ago.
So you just a direct perception of dependent origination in the highest way of explaining this thing is that everything you experience is this way. Your sense powers connect to data, yeah, to the object of your sense powers. Your consciousness then labels that and happens like that. But you just caught it for the first time. And when you catch it, you saw that that ain't what you thought you saw. You realize that can never be a flower like that from its own side.
Is that the void of the negative of everything it is not?
Not quite there yet, but we'll get there. Yeah, you come to that later. Yeah, the Mind Only School says you arrived at that through that process. Yeah, you arrived at that through that process.
So what is it again? Can you re-describe it?
Sure. You're sitting there playing with the flower. In our classical example, you're making a cup of tea for your love. Yeah, and then there's a moment where your mind is looking at the silver thing with the black hood and the heat, and it's making sound, right? And you the experiencer of that thing, that moment, realizes that you could never be seeing a perfectly round pot on a stove boiling water. That the sense input is not a pot boiling water. That the sense input is some blackness in this kind of shape, some silverish, if you can even label it that, in this kind of shape. You don't see the bottom of it, you don't see the back of it, but in your mind, you just saw a perfect pot on a stove. that is impossible to see from your vantage point. Your mind just completely created a functioning thing, a perfect pot that isn't what your data is sensing. Impossible that your data is sensing that. And you have this experience where you have just constructed pot, not by your wishing, but some force in you labeled that pot. Cockroach running across might see that as not pot, as something else. Their mental imaging is calling it something else. And this, you can only get, this experience you can only get through understanding two words from the from the logic school. Chi and Jedra. Yeah? Did I put it out there or no? Chi and Jedra. We're not going to get to talk about it because I'm not going to get through the whole class.
Unless we stay late.
Unless we stay, we are going to stay late. We're still not going to get through the whole class. The only way you can end up having that experience where you're spontaneously arising, the Buddhas are not consciously reaching everybody. They've built the impulse to do that. How do they build the impulse? Through being a Buddha. How do you become a Buddha? Omniscience and all-knowing and free of mental afflictions. How do you do that? You reach some kind of freedom of mental afflictions first. How do you do that? You have a direct perception of emptiness, and then you go through a process of habituation. And how do you do that? You see how your mind creates mental images of the world that you call real. How do you do that? You learn Chi Chedra, quality and characteristic of that quality, the way your mind processes that stuff, and you start looking for it. Like the letter A, you learn it cerebrally first. Then you look for examples in your everyday world. There's no other important stuff to do in the world, even though the rest are distractions, and they're going to distract you. So 3 Chis, do you remember what they were? Okay, but give it to me in English terms. One is just types, right?
The mental images.
Well, then, that's the Dunchi, yeah? Good.
Mental image of something that you've seen before.
Nice, good, that's more accurate. But for the purpose of generally discussing this, Dunchi is mental imaging, right? That's got 3 qualities, we'll get to that. That's the most important Chi of these 3 Chis. The first one is Richi, yeah? Or the ness. Geshe-Michael talks about clockness, carness, yeah? Hotness, flourness. There's something, there's some primordial archetype that you hold.
It's the lockness.
Oh, good one.
I don't like you. Yeah.
I had another joke and you didn't let me.
I know, I like it.
It was really good though.
It was excellent. So the first one is, put it out there, Richi. Yeah, and that's just type, a ness of something. You go back and research it. The most important one is this yellow one. It is Dunchi. It's got 3 qualities. And it's a mental image. The key here for the Madhyamikas is you mistake the image of pot that appeared in your mind for the thing out there. And then you behave towards your world in relation to the mental image rather than what's really out there. And there is the mistake. You see it?
Wait, what?
You mistake the mental image of pot, that perfect thing that you just saw your mind project in my last experience.
Oh.
We mistake that for whatever the hell that is out there. And we call that ness, this pot, ness, we call it that. And then we operate to that as if it's out there. But it was just a mental image. And so the experience is you catch that labeling process, giving it name and form. And then if you've caught it once, that's it. You're on your home run. If you've got a meditation habit, you go and meditate on that. And you will be able to see how your mind does that about everything. That was a physical experience, object. Object of your mind is also the Hector, the person. Yeah, the feeling, the smell. And you can do it to everything. Yeah. The key here is that Dunchi, you mistake that mental image for the real thing. which means you think things are self-existent. Yeah, and the mechanism that we get through it is through negating. So that's what the last one, Tsokchi, not yes, that's right.
A lot of
Yeah, I know it's funny. Just got it now.
You just got it.
It's just a physical collection of parts. So you could say that flower has a collection of parts. It has the stem, it has the petals, it has the leaves, yeah? And that's what a tsokchi is. Any particular flower, this particular flower, and its collection of parts are its jedraks, chi jedraks.
It was written down in brackets at the end, Abhidharma POV, particles.
Point of view.
Point of view. Oh,
Yeah, of particles. So it's just the Abhidharma's way of saying what we say in science, that everything has particulate matter. Yeah, it's our atomic theory. That's all.
So
Yeah.
Jedrak means like,
Jedrak is characteristic of that stuff,
right, which is chi.
and chi is general, with in terms of type or
But
ness.
we never
or-
say categories or something like that, 'cause that's misleading. Instead we say it's got the qualities of.
Yeah. How do you test a jedrak? So you got the three chis, right? The most important one you should get in this class is that we are forever creating, mistaking mental images, which we arrive through negation. Yeah, according to this school. I really don't know how we arrived at it. No, really, no clue. But I'm going to learn this method until I get somewhere. Because so far I've gotten places with this method. Yeah. So
you're following on faith.
I'm following it on faith and logic of the parts of it which are direct experiences that I can verify for myself, and then parts of my experiences which I validate on reasoning. Yeah, reasoning by going, if it's that, then it's that. Like you have things that are hidden and very hidden. Yeah, and we logically follow through with that, and if things keep working out, then I can keep that. The scripture is the faith, because I only believe in scripture because I've met a being that I find to be somebody of Brahma. Yeah? So for me, that's enough. And until you find your own one of those, you're either going to have to battle logic or direct experience. Yep.
Oh, wait. So someone can't just follow something on faith.
You can.
If they haven't. But I mean, if someone doesn't have like a heart teacher or a guru or something like that, where they've had a valid perception, let's say they haven't had a valid perception, that they couldn't just be like, I'm just gonna follow these scriptures or something.
I disagree with you. People do that all the time.
People can do that.
People do it all the time.
In this system.
People do it all the time, in this system and outside this system. And it will get you somewhere.
Okay.
But not strong enough.
Right.
Until you prove it to yourself, until you have some valid experience. There's always stuff you put on the shelf and stuff you deal with faith, if you like. But it's not faith based on, can you tell me what to do next? Okay, I'll do it. Can you now tell me what to do next? Okay, I'll do it. Because if you use that logic, then I have to do what he tells me next.
Right.
And what the next idiot that walks in the door tells me next. Right? And most of the time we're doing that. Oh, celebrity such and such said this is a good thing to get. So I better get it. Yeah, I'll buy that. It's not really based on anything other than I want to be like them. Yeah? Something you can prove through logic and experience. Give me a test, 3 tests of what a jedrak is to a chi.
Oh, yeah.
If you take away the chi, the jedrak doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
That's a nice one. Say that
If you remove the chi.
if you remove one, the other one automatically goes away. Is it there?
One way to it.
Yeah, and then you have these relationships with that one way to way. Here's a quick answer. Sorry for going late.
There are multiple other options.
Do you know what that means? There are other things we call cars that are not Fords or Chevrolets. There's Toyotas,
Other J-drops.
the other jedraks,
Which are
expressions of that chi. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go really. I'm not gonna go really quickly. I'm going to go. I want to do something good. Let's see if you can remember this. We're going to try for a correct reason in a logical argument.
Reason.
Hmm?
Oh, she remembers it.
1 must be 3.
Okay.
What does that mean? So
That
let's do
if
consider sound. It's a changing thing because it's made.
sound is made, it has to be true that sound is made.
Okay, so 1 must be 3, right? That's a short way of thing.
Must be 3.
Is that right? Does 3 apply to 1? Good. What's the next thing? For it something to be a correct reason, to end up being a correct reason.
The assertion and the reason have to correlate, have to be.
If 2, then.
2 then.
Yeah,
I think it
then
should be 3 then 2.
If 3, then 2, and if
Two,
not
right.
2, then not 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So let's give it to me in terms of that statement. Actually, give it to me in terms of this statement. You want me to go back?
Sounds are made.
I can go back.
Never.
Is that enough? Or what more?
Sound is, so A would be
Thank you.
sound is made.
Consider sound is a made thing. Is sound something made?
Yeah,
Does that hold?
that holds.
Give me the expression of the positive necessity.
That which is made is a changing thing.
That which is made is a change. Is that true? Does that hold?
That
In
holds.
this-
Yes.
Is anybody not here? Not paying attention? Not.
Yes.
I'm not paying attention, but I'm here.
Give me the negative necessity. If it's not 2, then it's not 3.
If it's not changing, then it's not made.
And is that true?
Yeah.
Does that hold? Why is it true? Because you remember that silly chart,
The computer says so.
right? Let's do this one. Consider water. It's wet because it's a liquid. What's the first one?
Water is liquid.
Is that true? Does that hold?
Water is
Is water a
yeah.
liquid?
Wait,
Yeah.
always?
Well, if
We're
not,
talking about regular water.
Good one.
I know, but
She got you on that
she
one.
got me. No,
No.
we're not doing that. We're doing a
Consider
simple
but
exercise.
no, the other way is called
Yeah, yeah,
ice or
exactly.
vapor. It's not called water.
Oh,
Vapor
If
or
you say
ice.
liquid water,
Yeah.
Not H2O.
Well,
Consider
Well,
H2O.
science is H2O.
Are we happy there?
You can say water and science.
That's a different argument. I don't have answers for that one.
Yeah.
Let's let it go.
It
Let's let it go.
holds. Liquid.
Come on.
Water.
That's
Yes.
where I started. It's awful.
It's the positive necessity. Does it hold?
Yes.
Why are we figuring this out, by the way? Give it to me in
practice.
relation to the stupid thing you wrote about yourself.
So we can use this on our mind every second of every moment of every 64th of a second, every thought,
Nice,
everything
nice.
that happens to us.
And
We'll automatically go to this because we're doing this simple example. Now,
exactly. We're doing
where-
simple, and then you do a written example with your stupid example.
Yeah.
See where it doesn't hold.
Yeah.
Okay. Do a logical argument about your stupid example. See where it doesn't hold, and then you begin to have power over your stupid example. Okay.
Yes.
Like you have to do that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because then it's not correct what you're saying to yourself. Yeah. Now your mind is going to come up with really good debates to say, yes, it is, Richard, because you are this. I found you an example here, and then you have to keep using this to break it down. Is give me an expression of the positive necessity here. A liquid's wet.
Always. I don't know if it's always true.
Well,
Well, we're talking normal water. We're
Yeah,
doing a
so
very
let's say
simple
yes,
example.
It is.
The answer is, does it hold?
Yeah, it holds.
Now, if it's not wet,
Is it not?
Right. Is it not wet? Is it not liquid?
But when you say it's a liquid, you're specifically talking about water?
no.
No, liquid.
Well, what about like mercury
Yeah.
on top of a glass floor? Is that wet?
Yes.
It's not wetting anything.
It's what?
What is wet?
Yeah, what does wet mean? That's my question.
good. Then we're going to get to the art of
Dictionary.com.
definitions. But generally speaking, for the purposes of proving this example, meaning to get the habit of understanding whether things hold or not. Simplify it, yeah? You're going deep in a debate, but in general, Mercury is wet, like it's a wet thing, yeah? You would say that a kid would touch and go, that's wet. Then we come to terms about what's wetness, yeah? Then you change the debate and go, okay, is that wetness? But you know what we're trying to say here is a general example, okay? Does the negative necessity hold? If it's not wet, is it not liquid?
I'm gonna say yes, although I doubt it.
Yeah.
You can debate it, okay? One more. Consider sound. They are changing things because they are not made.
No.
So
sound is not made.
Is that true? Does that hold true? That sounds are not made. It's not true?
no.
You sure?
Yeah.
Good. Consider the positive necessity.
No, it doesn't
Things
hold.
are not made.
Huh?
Changing things are not. That which is not made cannot be changed.
So it doesn't hold.
Yeah, it does not hold.
And lastly,
No, it does not hold.
are you sure?
Things are not made.
What?
If it's unmade, is it changing? Are unmade things changing?
No, if
No,
it's,
so it doesn't
if it's
hold.
not changing,
It's not changing,
it's
not
not
change.
made. It's not
Not
made.
made.
Quickly, one more. I just want to see if you get the correlations. This is really how you prove whether something's correct or not. So
Yeah.
consider the sky. It is good to taste because it's blue.
In
So I
general.
mean, 3 applies to 1,
Is
yes.
it true
Yeah.
that?
True.
Yeah.
I mean, in general,
General
during the
sky,
day,
yes.
yes.
General
Does the
archetypal
Is
necessary.
it good to taste?
Yeah, totally.
If
I
it's
tried
blue,
structures.
Then it's good to taste.
Try,
is everything that's
Blue good to
try
blue
spoiled
good to
meat.
taste?
No.
Rancid
Does
meat.
it hold?
Blue curacao.
Is everything
Rancid
that's
meat's
not
delicious.
good to taste not blue?
No.
No.
No. Okay, good. I think that's it. I got one more. Consider sky. It's good to taste because cats.
Yes. And it holds. All of them
It
hold.
doesn't hold. Okay, that's it.
Wait.
What was the last one?
You want to do the last one?
It's okay.
You don't want to do the last
What
one.
was it?
I don't know. I just lost the. There it is. I've got so many here, people. We're not getting to it. I'm going to get to this.
Oh my god, there's more.
Okay.
Ooh. You can't read it.
You can't read it?
No.
I can read it.
You can?
Can you read it?
You want me to?
I want you to.
Now I can really read it.
Uh,
There is nothing you should practice. There's nothing you should give up. Strip everything of your perceptions. Use your mind as it came from the beginning that never was. Don't confuse things by trying to understand them. Live in the place called as it is. And then you'll become a high and holy being.
Thank you. Okay.
Hector.
It's very different to what we just finished studying. Okay.
Yeah.
No, just turn the back ones on.
Huh?
Just turn the back ones on.
The back one's on. More on. More on. More on.
Hey.
Ooh.
Put the back ones more on.
Is that good? Everybody has
Yeah,
it?
that's good,
Yeah,
good, good.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. We didn't get through all the content of the entire course, which I wanted to, okay? We only got 3/4 of the way through it. But remember that, okay?
Now
You are putting an imprint in your mind, and you know you are, because every time you do something, that imprint does something to the way you relate to your world. You know this from when you get angry, you can't see happiness in the world. You have to prove it to yourself. If this is truly how we experience the world, then our job is just one job, is to undo the things stopping us from seeing ourselves and this world as miraculous, which it has the potential to be. And it's not some idea. It will become a practical reality because your experience of being is exactly that. It's just a projection of a mental image upon data that you mistake for truth. Under analysis, you will always come to that if you've got all the components of how to break down reality. You have to learn all the puzzle pieces. You will be delivered. You will deliver your own mind to that realization at some point. If you do, if you get a hint for it, don't waste your life on stuff that isn't going to free you from suffering. Please. Yeah, you can still do exciting things like cut flowers and whatever, but your mind should be on something ultimate all the time. So the next course, September 1st, we start, is Lojong, mind training. And it decodes these beautiful heart advices from masters through the ages. In there is a code to remove self-existence from your world, understand ultimate reality, and pitch you into a state of bliss. Every one of these has that. And you better know how to decode them. Because if you don't, and you're some schmuck reading this, you think, oh, nothing exists, I'm fine, I don't have to investigate anything. It's not what they're telling you, okay? It's code for a difficult thing to come to, but when you come to it, you've deeply landed into the deepest part of your heart. That tells you, when you know with a certainty that you're in the right place. Lojongs will get you there, yeah? So it's a beautiful course. Between now and then, you have a ton of work. And I mean unraveling your mind. Please come on Thursdays, join Rachel and the team to finish these things. Practice your debating. Do as many homeworks and quizzes as you can. Part 1. Part 2, try and help the 3 jewels become a better place with your deepest intention. Bring people over. Have events. There's a movie night.
August 8th.
August 8th. We're
It's
going
a
to
Monday
start
night.
movie nights here on Monday nights. ACI 1 is continuing on Tuesdays.
7.
And then let me tell you a little bit of magic, since it's a nice type of group that just happened. I was in Sedona trying to talk to one of our main sponsors for this center to please help us move soon, yeah? And we've been looking for rental spaces, and they've been getting more and more expensive, and they just committed to help us purchase a building or a part of a building, yeah? If we find the right building, and their main question is, how many beings are you serving? How many people come here to talk about these special things?
Infinite Buddhas.
They didn't say how much. They just said, how many beings are you helping? So I told them the wonderful things we're doing here. I showed them some things. And they committed to a large sum of money to purchase a building, so long as we keep the building going, pay the taxes and so on. So my next step is to go and present next week a bunch of possible purchases. Yeah? Ground floor, somewhere in Manhattan, with cafe at the front, a nice basement to store stuff, or to have little meditation chambers. But there's no point in doing that if we don't have these conversations for the sake of waking up. It's not just a cafe, and it's not a yoga studio. You can't, we can go to any place for that. Yeah, so I was deeply humbled. This beautiful teleconference, it lasted hours. And all they wanted to know is how really we're helping. Yeah, I amped it up a little bit, and I told them you went to help the Big Quiet, that you did something for the Big Quiet, right? So one of our people that comes to our center was at the Big Quiet. He was so impressed. He's like, oh, good, send me pictures. So I'm like, okay, send you pictures. So all of a sudden we look like 10,000 people or something, right? But we've got to not use this stuff just for ourselves. The point is, if we get past this, because it's still a karma opening, right? It's not an open karma yet, right? So the reason I'm having this dialogue with you, sorry, I was rushing in my head, is that as the karma is opening, what do you think our collective attention should be on?
Bringing people, helping minds,
Awakening people's mind.
You've got to think about it, right? As a collective, what should our minds, I gave you an answer when you asked me about Bernie Sanders, right?
Great enlightenment.
with the deepest wisdom you have, understand where the possibility of a perfect place could come from. What karma must you have to have somebody offer you up a whole building for a lifetime in New York City as a group of people, as an individual? What kind of karma must you have for a perfect place where beings can come and learn ultimate nature of things, find peace?
Preserving the Dharma.
Preserving the Dharma, something to do with location. You must have at some past offered space for others to get wisdom at, right? If you believe in past lives, you must have built monasteries and other stuff. So I invite you, please, while I get on that flight on Saturday night and rush to find appropriate places to present, please think of every time that you've helped somebody get Dharma. Please think of every time you've given somebody shelter that needs it, a spiritual person that is on the verge of something special. Please think every time you've done that here, created a beautiful holy space for people to have experiences. And sit on those karmas, dedicate those karmas. Think about the emptiness of those karmas like mama chicken on the egg. Yeah? Fertilize those karmas, make them come up. So when I have this meeting, I come back with good news September 1st. Yeah, please.
Can we send anything else with you?
Yeah, you can. I was actually thinking it would be very nice if I got a video while I was over there from everybody saying, thank you for this beautiful space. Thank you for your offering. Thank you in general to say we're grateful.
We're not supposed to know, are we?
You're not really supposed to know, but just say, you know that we have someone that's taking care of us and is taking care of us. So you shouldn't know specifically, but you should know. Sorry, we're going to erase that. But you know that there's someone wanting to take care of you. He knows that you guys know that he exists, even though he wants to keep it quiet. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm?
We come to his teaching and he's here.
Oh no, this is a different being.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm inviting you, please. 3 things you could do, right? Make sure this place thrives, so it's actually worth something for us to have this virtue occur here. 2, learn it for yourselves and share it. Like you have to do that. But 3, sit on those karmas. Together we are. It's not the 3 jewels for Hector. You know, I'm gonna die and I'm gonna move on. And it's not the 3 jewels for Javier. He teaches meditation, and eventually he'll teach more. But it's not.
But I'm also gonna die.
You're also gonna die. It's been here 20 years serving people like us. Who's the next unknown faces to us? People still walking out there. At some point, they're going to come to a point of, oh, I wish I understood the world. And if they're lucky, they'll walk in here. You know, maybe do some Dharma, any yoga. Think about that. Yeah, I feel really honored and grateful to be able to share these things, even though they're difficult. Your job, your real job, is apply them. Like they're not just ideas. They're to address your blockers, because you are, like this says, there's a freedom in you already. You are in the realm of this. Yeah, some aspect of you is there. Okay.
Seshi Buddhi Shim Etotram Viratin Shin Empadi Sanghe Shindu Mite Muargi Govinamda Shingha Suparsho Vidam Guru Ratnamandalakam Niyatayami Gevadiyogum Sunam Yeshe Tsotsokshim Sunam Yeshe Rejumwe Ramba
hurry up and come back and shine.
Yeah.
I'm very shy about sharing about this. I'm in recovery. I made a website which takes the preliminaries and puts them out for people who are in recovery or whatever. And it's called meditate4-12step.com. And because I think I know a lot of people in the last, I've been involved in that community for 15 years that are trying to meditate and they give up. And as Geshe-la has talked many, many other times, that if we don't do the warm-up preliminaries, our meditations are usually fucked because we don't know. It's a mess. So anyway, I wanted to let everybody know about this site because maybe you know somebody who is in recovery or struggling with meditation. And I've actually taught this at workshops, at sober conventions. So in dedicating to what you were about to do, I thought, oh, maybe I should open my mouth.
Thank you.
It's a really rough website because I just did it really fast, but it's not a good web person. But
that's awesome. Thank you. So you have that connection if you have somebody in recovery who wants to practice the 7-step preliminaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And take it from Scott.
Have you talked to the community here? The AA community here?
No, I haven't because they just just meditate for 20 minutes on whatever it is you want to meditate on, which is okay, but we know that there's a higher object, and so in this thing, it ends up being meditating on your higher power, or your Lama, or whatever that happens to be built into it. So it's trying to get a higher object and a little more structure to that.
Maybe there's a way we could share that with people that are coming here and maybe could lead meditations.
I've actually wanted to like teach this a little bit to, like announce it at some meeting saying, I'm teaching this thing, it's based on this thing, and try to get more, pass it on.
Cool, I like it, thank you. Thank you everyone, and Rachel, I just want to see you for 1 minute so I can give you a download of what I've got here for the rest of the structure. If you've got any questions or anything, talk to Stephen, who's not coming to China.